How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, and Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Thursday here on the show, and yes, I am here. No, I'm not getting beat up in the cafeteria. My job every other Thursday is to prevent that. But here, I am on the show to prevent misinformation. We got a lot to talk about here today. Last night was Dynamite, and it was the final Dynamite before the pay-per-view this weekend. And we've got a big lineup for the Revolution show, 10 matches, at this point at least. It is Sunday. And, of course, up until that point, we got a lot of other things, including SmackDown on Friday, which will be the follow-up to the John Cena heel turn. Cody Rhodes is going to address it, and that's coming up on Friday. Saturday is Collision, which is a taped show, and not exactly a big-time taped show, but it is. We got UFC on Saturday night as well, for those of you that love UFC. We've got the AW pay-per-view Sunday, and then back for Raw on Monday, so we can go over some lineups here on the show. And then all of the news, including, for those of you worried about the WWE, that WCW footage, which I know a lot of you are very concerned about. There's now a WCW Vault section on the WWE YouTube channel, and there will be an ECW one as well, and others. So, they're working on what's going to happen when potentially the network is no longer on a Peacock. We've got another team going into the Hall of Fame. We got NXT ratings, which actually were affected. They were actually affected by Donald Trump doing a speech, which, real life doesn't always affect NXT, but it did this time. So we'll talk about that and all of the rest of the news. You want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4W Online, Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez on Blue Sky and X. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. So I had to miss Tuesday. I had to get my shoulder worked on by the witch doctor. And I was planning to be here the rest of the week. But then, out of the blue, I hear that Friday's an early dismissal. So I was like, oh man, I'm going to miss another show. But fear not, my dear friends. I have figured out how to make it work. I will be here for Fun Friday.
Oh my.
And not only that, Lance Storm will be here for Fun Friday. Hey, you know, this guy here says Bryan believes in voodoo. How about that? Well, I didn't say voodoo. I said a witch doctor, and he's not actually a witch doctor. I won't go into a lot of detail, but I'm going to say this, okay? All right? Here's the thing, everybody.
Here's his defense of chiropractors.
It's not even a defense. Well, it is defense. But listen, I am a guy who tries my best to live in reality, okay? So, I was introduced to this guy years and years ago, and like, I swear to God, if I told you the bizarre things that this man does, you would just be I mean, you wouldn't even believe me if I told you.
I heard he's got some techniques on how to fix your tailbone.
You wouldn't even believe me if I told you, okay? It's just. So anyway, the point is, my back for years and years and years, actually there's a few things. My back for years was so messed up. Like, I have pictures, because, you know, when I was younger, and even today, you know, I take before and after pictures if I'm exercising. And, you know, some of these pictures from when I was younger, it's like, I am so crooked. Like, one of my hips is at least 2-3 inches above the other. It's like I'm standing with one high heel on. I'm so messed up, okay? So my back was like just a disaster for years. So I was introduced to this guy. And, you know, anyway, the point is, I left my first session with this guy just thinking, like, what did I just do? Like, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And my hip was aligned afterwards. And it was the same thing, like my sunglasses. I used to have to always adjust one side of my sun because I always had one ear higher than the other. Well, he did this thing to my skull. And then all of a sudden, like, my sunglasses that I'd had to fix, I had to fix them back to normal because my ears were aligned. So anyway, here's the thing, okay? I don't care. Let me make this abundantly clear. I don't care if this is the placebo effect. Do you understand? Yeah. I don't care. All I care about is he fixes it. So, if he wants to tell me that I got to do this or that or put these glasses on or look at this thing or whatever, I don't care. As long as I'm fixed. So, you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want. Like, I don't care. All I know is when things really go awry, when my back is really out and I go down to that normal chiropractor and he cracks me 6 straight days and doesn't do any good, I go to the witch doctor, I walk out in alignment. I don't care how it worked. I don't care if it's all in my mind. Do you guys understand? I don't care if it's all in my mind, if I'm fixed afterwards. So anyway, man, my shoulder feels so much better, and I don't care what weird thing I had to listen to in this ear and look at with this and, you know, put this glasses at this eye blocked out, and I don't care. Fix my shoulder. So anyway,
is all that stuff over your eyes so you can't tell what he's slipping into the IV?
No, it's nothing. There's no IV.
Okay.
There's
Michael
no
Booble
IV.
wants to know on the doll where he touched you.
Come on, guys. Do you have to be like that? How come
Now,
How can't
wait a
we? Why
second.
can't we just be serious on this show?
Now, you say you go to the chiropractor and it doesn't work. Then you go to the witch doctor. So is the witch doctor a chiropractor, or is he just literally like a man with magic hands?
He is what is called a craniopath. And if you look it up, it'll be like, okay, this is whatever. But you know what? Works. And I don't care why. So that's the end of the day. See, the normal chiropractor, my insurance will cover it. And so it's basically free 12 times a year. And, for a lot of things, it's like, crack, okay, I feel better. Everything's fine. But like sometimes it doesn't work. And then when it doesn't work, I go to this guy. I pay out of pocket. I got to pay more.
Give a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue and like $200.
I got to pay more. But you know what? At the end of the day, and what's funny is like if you go there, he's got this giant wall, and it's just like full of photos of like celebrities, like NBA stars, NFL stars that have gone there, and he puts them back together again. So anyway, he's the guy. Now, let's talk about some sad news. I got to get this out of the way first because this sucks. Broderick Shepard, known to wrestling fans for his work as Australian Suicide and Lucha Libre AAA, passed away at 32. Death was confirmed by AAA, and Maricela Pena posted statements mourning his passing, sending condolences to the family. Married to Puerto Rican wrestler Vanilla Vargas, they welcomed their first child in 2021. Cause of death not announced. He was, in fact, trained by Lance. And so maybe Lance will want to talk about it a little bit tomorrow. But 32 years old, and that sucks. We're at a couple of AEW Dark matches under the name El Australiano, including a singles bout with Sammy Guevara, have been wrestling in indies. Early in his career, he was Ryan Rollins. So all the best to his family and friends, Lance. Sad story. Just sucks. Australian Suicide. Broderick Shepard has passed away. And don't know anything about it other than that. So...
No, it does kind of make me want to go back and watch the old Lucha Underground show, though, because I'm not really all that versed in AAA. I saw a lot of the Lucha guys today come out and give their condolences about it, and I didn't realize that I had watched him on El Rey, on Lucha Underground, so it kind of makes me want to go back and kind of see some of his stuff now, because I just wasn't very, very versed in the deal. But again, anytime somebody passes away this early, especially leaving a wife and a kid, is just very, very sad.
With uncertainty swirling regarding the long-term availability of WWE-owned wrestling footage, fans of WCW will at least be able to watch classic action via a new dedicated YouTube channel launched by WWE on Thursday. According to somebody in the chat, I can't confirm this because I haven't seen it, but they claim they also found an ECW one, which is not public yet. But the WCW account kicked off with 25 episodes. Whoop-de-doo. First episode of Nitro. Well, several episodes of Thunder.
That's what, 50 to 100 hours of programming.
Two Clash of the Champions. Several pay-per-views, full-length matches with Flair and Steamboat, Hogan and Goldberg.
Say, what era is some of this stuff from? Because if it's a bunch of random Nitros, then no, it probably isn't very good. But if they're mixing in some stuff like Flair, Steamboat, Chi-Town Rumble, and those 4 matches that they had that year, okay, there's a little bit better. But this may be the direction that things are going with everything. Last week on my birthday, they rolled out that Georgia Omni show from February of 1984 on their Vault channel, and this may be the direction they're going with a lot of this stuff, that we won't see it because they're either not going to sell it to a Peacock again or a Netflix or something like that, or there's no interest in buying that stuff because there just wasn't enough people watching it. But it's going to be sad for somebody like me. It's going to be sad to see some of this stuff go away. And for a lot of people who like podcasts like you're doing right now on the site, looking back at old Mid-South, it's just, it makes it difficult.
Well, yeah, here's the point. Place. If you want to put up like a bunch of cool matches, that's all well and good, okay? But if you're putting up episodic television shows, who wants to go watch random episodes of Thunder? I realize it's just now rolling out. Who wants to watch it in succession either? But the point is, I realize it's just now rolling out. But to me, if you're going to put up TV episodes, you got to put up like at least an entire year at a time, because otherwise, like, what's the point?
I agree, and I know a lot of people don't watch it. I get that, but there is a older base where I would consider offering some of that stuff.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Back here, the show. Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I was thinking, by the way, with that Nitro and Thunder.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, you may as well just watch them out of order because they'll make the same amount of sense. Doesn't really matter.
That's true. That's living through it. You went through it twice. I don't know how you did that.
I got paid.
Well, yeah.
Now, so I was laughing during the break because I was on the board reading the thread for yesterday's Observer Radio. And, man, listen, it's not that I don't get it, okay? If you like Max Caster's new gimmick, that's more power to you, okay? More power to you. I'm glad you love it, okay? Now, no one even seems to see what my problem with it even is, which is you've taken a guy And, the first thing, as soon as I say that, everyone's going to go, he wasn't really a big star. He wasn't really that over. He sucked when he was in the Acclaim. Okay, well, you know what? If you think that, then this gimmick is great. But there was certainly a point where the Acclaimed was a super hot act. And they had the rap before the match that the people always pop for. Got him in trouble every now and then, but, it was something new and different. And then, like, the people were to their matches. And you had old daddy ass out there. And it was like, do you guys ever think about this? Okay, I don't mean this is like a burial, but I want you to really think about this. How many homegrown, big-time star acts are there in AEW? I'm not talking somebody that came from WWE or somebody who was a big star outside of AEW before they started.
Do the MJFs and Hangmans count?
I'm talking, well, I mean, yeah, I think you could count MJF.
Okay.
But I mean, Hangman was a huge star in ROH before he came over, the Young Bucks, and, like, this was an actual homegrown act that got over huge in AEW. They won the tag team titles. It was hot. And then one day, for reasons I cannot understand, they just beat them. And then it was a slow, steady downhill decline to the point where now, people argue, well, they weren't really all that over. Who cares? Which actually they were. You're remembering like the last 6 months or a year. But like this was a hot act, okay? And now, Mr. Ass has vanished. Anthony Bowens has vanished. And Max Caster is an enhancement talent, okay? He might be an entertaining one, but he is an enhancement talent.
He's
okay?
Sean Stasiak is meat, is what you're saying?
Sean Stasiak was never over, dude. I'm trying to think of a guy who was actually over that became an enhancement talent. And I can't think of one. If you're fine with that, great. That's cool. And then people are like, oh, he's such an entertaining geek. Yeah, he is. You know who else is? Ricochet. And I don't know, how many entertaining geeks do I need? Ricochet's all I need when it comes to entertaining geeks. That dude's awesome.
Well,
he's also like, he's like he's getting to be a kind of a tippy-top guy.
A geek who wins. Somebody's going to be a geek who loses. I guess that's his role now. I mean, look, I guess there is somebody that would say, I would rather be on national television showing off and trying to do something that people can work with later as opposed to not being on TV at all. And I'm not saying that this is a great gimmick. I'm saying I'm still willing to kind of let things play out because at least he's on TV. At least he's someone with something going on right now, as opposed to a lot of people who disappear off TV. They never have anything going on. So I don't know if long-term this is going to work out for him or not, but I think there are far worse positions to be in than he's in an AEW.
Well, I'm sure not being on TV, but I mean, I'm not even sure about that. I mean, dude, some people are off TV for a long time and they come back and like they're big stars because they've been gone, okay? No. But this guy, I mean, can someone find another person whose career aspirations were to be a big homegrown star that then, while still young, not while old, while still young, decided that they wanted to be Barry Horowitz?
Actually,
can anybody come up with one?
Maybe he should take that gimmick on, honestly. Maybe he should take on the Barry Horowitz gimmick so he can have the long losing streak
Put a big
and turn it
handprint
into
on
a
his
win.
thing. He goes like
sure.
this.
Well, yeah, but maybe he doesn't need that because he's got the plaque or the gimmick from the whole best wrestler alive thing. But maybe that's what this turns into after a while. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
This guy brought up Happy Corbin. Well, Happy Corbin is currently unemployed. So that did wonders for him. Who else?
Oh, there's a lot. Well, look, WWE made Zack Ryder into he got over naturally, and then they made sure to make sure that you knew.
I know, but he never got to. He never got to the
talent.
level the Acclaimed got to. Zack Ryder was never at that level, and then devolved into being like never. Can someone come up with one?
I think Zack
There has
Ryder
to be
was more
somebody.
over. I think Zack Ryder individually for a little bit of time there was far more over than Max Caster and the Acclaimed were. I would argue that with the whole thing with Cena and the U.S. title and all that, he did peak really high.
Carlito, this person mentions. Well, yeah, Carlito, sort of, yeah. But, I mean, at the same time, it's like Carlito's on the tail end of his career, and he's lucky to be employed, if we're being honest. So, like, if that's what Max is aspiring to, I'm at the tail end of my career and lucky to be employed, then the gimmick's great. I don't think that's his intention, but it seems to be.
Max, also, the thing with Caster is a lot of those guys in WWE, it was either by their own hand or by the person that was pushing them. Like Carlito, a lot of people said he kind of did it to himself and then fell out of that position and became the apple-carrying geek. You know, but again, that was either because of him, because of the people that were pushing him, or I don't know. Maybe everybody thinks this is brilliant with him. Again, there are far worse things, I think, but...
Oh, here we go. Max isn't a single star. Do we honestly think Max has any potential as a singles guy? Well, you know, some people do. You know, they do. Not with this gimmick. I can tell you that much.
He probably has more potential than losing in 5 seconds to Jay White or whoever it is every week. I mean, for sure he's got that. He's got the rap down.
And then Dave
He
last night,
good.
I was like, did we really need this segment? And Dave goes, well, you know, maybe they wanted to get the Blade Runner over. I was like, what?
Well,
the Blade Runner's over. We didn't need to squash Max Caster to like get the Blade Runner over. Like, right?
And
if we did, there's a problem.
We didn't need the Jay White, and I like Jay White. We didn't need the promo afterwards. He was either have a short promo and the match, or just I don't know. I don't know. That there was a lot about that probably wasn't helpful to anybody.
Actually, hey, you know what? I guess we actually have one here, although it was not by design. The natural disasters are going into the Hall of Fame. And I remember when Earthquake, one of the reasons I got into wrestling was the feud with Earthquake and Hulk Hogan.
The
when
Canadian
Earthquake sat on him on the Brother Love show and squished him. And he became, you know, he was in the main events. He was feuding with Hulk Hogan in main events, Earthquake. And then, you know, years later, he became a fish.
I'm not a fish.
But not by design, I should add.
An animal.
He was on the tail end of his career, in fact. You know, no,
he was very young, though.
Tail end of his career.
Oh, will you stop?
When he was a fish. But the point is, I mean, is anyone going to say, hey, you know what? He was better off as that shark. Anybody? Does anybody here think that John Tenta was better off as shark? No?
No.
Okay. No. Just checking.
Now, how about
because you know what? He wasn't.
As the Zodiac.
He was not better off. Yeah. Does anyone think Brutus? You guys remember Brutus the Barber Beefcake? Wasn't a great wrestler, okay? But Brutus the Barber Beefcake was like a big, big star in WWE. And, you know, he was best friends with Hulk Hogan. He had that feud with Mr. Perfect. I mean, and then, of course, you know, he was going to win the title, but then he had the parasailing accident. But the point is, you know, does anybody go, that guy was definitely better as Zodiac than he was as Brutus the Barber Beefcake, one of the most well-known names of the 80s. He was better off when he was Zodiac. Anybody?
Maybe people like the yes-no more than the strutting and cutting. You never know.
Well, anyway, he wasn't better off.
No.
He was not better off as a Zodiac, nor was Earthquake better off as Shark. Just wasn't. No. And you can go on the vault and check it out if you'd like to. So we got Triple H, Michelle McCool, and the Natural Disasters for the Hall of Fame this year.
In the video package, they better have when he sat on Damien, and they shoot back to the event center because they can't show it, and Craig DeGeorge is just shocked. He's disgusted, or Sean Mooney, whoever it was that was in there, and oh God, they're freaked out, and then they cut back, and there he is sitting on top of Damien, murdering Damien, the evil Earthquake.
Yes, John Tenta was Golga. Was he better as Golga? No, his career was not better as Golga.
As far as merch and taking bumps, maybe.
Brutus was not better as the man with no name. He was not better.
What about the Booty Man?
Nor was he better as the Booty Man. Using the high knee as a finish.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? High knee? Because he was the Booty Man? I'll tell you when he wasn't better off. As the Booty Man doing the high knee. Back in a moment with Dynamite. Observer Live. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Well, Dynamite had an MJF promo to open up the show. He challenged Hangman to a fight. And, in fact, Hangman ends up showing up later in the show, tried to run him and poor Renee over. And then they brawled into the ring, had a wild brawl. And then MJF tried to light him on fire.
Uh-oh.
But he was prevented by geeks. Which is funny because, like, he's got this big thing of lighter fluid and he's going to pour it all over old Hanger. And he starts pouring it on him. And then he goes to get the lighter or whatever. And the announcers explain, well, half of security has been laid out, and the other half are dealing with Jon Moxley, so there is no one here to save the Hangman. And then MJF lifts up that lighter, and 500 people hit the ring and tackle him. I was like, you guys were wrong. There was a lot of security here. They dragged him away. So,
well, you say this company is booked by an invisible maniac.
Yes, it is.
Maybe the invisible maniac got dragged to Bryan Danielson's office by Orange Cassidy and said, look, do I have to drink all of this stuff? Maybe before people get murdered or end up being, trying to get debilitated by Moxley here, maybe we should do something about this. Because they could have used that excuse about a zillion other times and it would have worked when all this other stuff happens. So maybe they ought to keep that one in their pocket because so much ridiculous stuff happens on AEW. Maybe you want to say, like, we need security or something like that. Put that into things.
And we had Tony in the ring for the contract signing with Swerve and Nana. And it's funny because the segment itself, I thought that Swerve was great. I thought Ricochet was freaking awesome. He is the best geek. But then, so the thing ends, and Swerve makes a comment about Ricochet's ring announcer wife. So Ricochet grabs those scissors, and he goes to stab Swerve, and Swerve catches the hand. And then Swerve reaches into his jacket. He has his own pair of scissors, and he stabs this dude. He stabbed him right in the head. Mm-hmm. Ricochet goes down, starts bleeding all over the place. And I'm like, my God. And then they're like, to the back. And I went, what? And they just went to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like he just punched him or something.
Kind of superfluous, didn't you think?
And I thought, man, you stabbed that guy in the head, and we've just moved on to a video package about Amazon Prime? And then 90 minutes later, and it's funny because, like, it's my job and all, but I finished Observer Live on Wednesday, and then, like, or Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Wednesday. I finish a show, and then, like, I eat, and then, I do some stuff or whatever. But, like, what I don't do is go on Twitter. And so Wednesday night, I find out, like, halfway through the show, this main event. I was like, what? Yep, out of nowhere. They just announced on Wednesday afternoon this big old main event like they normally do. It's Okada and Ricochet versus Swerve and Brody King. Pretty freaking big match. I knew absolutely nothing about it when I did Observer Live on Wednesday. But anyway, who trots out for the match but Ricochet? Got a Band-Aid on his head. Yep. I'm like, you got stabbed an hour and a half ago. What are you doing? And he just wrestled like nothing.
Not gauze wrap, none of that.
Yeah, don't waste a stabbing like that.
No, especially when you could have done it at the end there. I think it would have made more sense, or actually do it on Sunday, with Swerve attacking him and doing that. It just seemed ridiculous. And let me rewind back for a second, since they've broken out now the lighter fluid. Are we to assume that somebody's going to get lit on fire, or
God, I hope
just
not.
Be going through a flaming table? Because,
don't do that.
Well, then why did they break it up? That's probably why. And that, with MJF and Adam Page, I wanted it to be violent. With what they've been doing, you expect there to be a level of violence, but I hope they don't. Number one, no hypodermic needles. I'm done with all of those, but I don't think we need to see somebody exactly lit on fire in this, but that seems to be the direction they're going.
Only a man afraid of needles would prefer being burnt to a crisp over having a needle put through your cheek.
I don't like needles, but I also don't want either one.
Okay. Well, we had the Murder Machines and Mark Davis versus Orange Cassidy, Will Hobbs, Will Ospreay, and Mark Briscoe.
Why is he not the world champion?
A lot of Marks and Wills here.
Mark Briscoe, that is.
And this match was great. Total party match, just wild. Ospreay pinned to the bad apple with the Os Cutter. And then all the heels attacked the baby faces, and they forced Mark Davis to take out Will Ospreay with a chair shot. He was sad about it. It's funny because, like, I'm not. This one is like it's just.
It sucks.
Half the time, Davis is totally fine being evil.
Exactly.
And then the other half, he's like really conflicted. I'm like, are you conflicted or are you evil? I mean, what's going on here?
They have not done a good job, I think, explaining that storyline and really beating into having it laid out as to why this man, a grown human being, is in such debt to Don Callis, and how possibly contractually, with a broken ankle, Don Callis has now got his power of attorney. It doesn't. I know it's wrestling.
Very serious broken ankle.
I know it's wrestling, but this really doesn't make any sense.
The ankle bone is connected to the brain bone. Are you aware of that?
Needs a craniologist.
A craniopath, thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Adam Copeland and Wheeler Yuta. It's one of those matches that, when it started, like, I just thought, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime. But by the end, I was like, okay, I got it. So, Adam Copeland has been taking out these death rights. I'm talking he's been concertoing them. He's killing them. And the only man left is Wheeler Yuta. And it's time for Wheeler to go to his death. But they ring the bell and they proceed to wrestle. Wrestling! They're exchanging holds. They lock up. They're grappling. And at first I'm watching this going, what is happening here? Why are we having a grappling battle in the middle of this blood feud? And so Copeland spears him. And at that point I'm just flabbergasted. I just do not get this at all. But then Copeland offers a handshake and he says, "This is what respect feels like." And Yuta is moved. And then, of course, Moxley hits the ring. He's thinking the same thing I am. What in the hell was that match? What are you idiots doing? He's yelling at this guy. And Yuta, he's fed up. He has seen respect now. He's not getting it from Moxley. So he finally shoves him and walks out. And so the story is that Copeland manipulated Yuta into walking out on Moxley. So now Moxley is all alone. And so Moxley does a promo. "I am all alone," he says, "but what are you going to do to me?" Vows to beat him on Sunday. And, like, at the end of the day, you know, this made sense. But I have this strong feeling that Yuta is screwing old Copeland on Sunday. Either Yuta or Jay White or both. Screwing the guy. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think this is going to end well for old Cope.
Probably not.
He's going to need to cope when that match is over, let me tell you. Had a great Outrunners video, if this is your jam. Then we had the MJF brawl.
I love the Bushwhackers.
Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander. The match was all right. Ended with Thunder making a 2-on-1 comeback or 1-on-2, and then got cut off. Bayne hit her with the F5, pinned her. That was the end of that.
I did like Penelope's hesitation punch.
They did do a hesitation spot where Penelope went to punch Thunder and hesitated, and then Thunder punched her. So that was exactly what they promised would happen. I think about 9 people noticed it. So then we had Renee and Mercedes hyping up the Momo match. Mercedes said she'd be watching. Serena would break Momo for her. Serena Deeb and Momo on Saturday. If you've been wondering where Serena Deeb has been, well, she's back to do a job, is where she's been. No, that's not a spoiler, but I'd be quite surprised if something else occurred.
You don't think we're getting a 3-way on Sunday then, with her getting the win?
And Jay White beat Max Caster after Max did his gimmick. And then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down with Mariah and Tony.
Spit.
Yeah, Mariah spat on her and then did a very overdramatic promo as Tony just looked at her. And then Tony said, well, Renee said, I pray that neither of you get hurt. And Tony said, pray for her. It'll be the Hollywood ending coming up on Sunday. You know, the big question is going to be,
What's that?
Is, well, first off, I expect Mariah to vanish for like 6 months afterwards because that's the usual modus. But, you know, the big question is when she returns, like, what's going to happen? Because I don't know how over she's going to be without being linked with Tony Storm. That's the question.
Well, it depends. You got to bring her back against somebody that is over. So if you have a spot where Willow Nightingale is there, you know, she can come back after a couple of months and be a witch to Willow. Now, if you bring her back and it's against, no offense, Rosa or Deeb or Deanna or somebody like that, yeah, you're going to have problems. But if you bring her back with somebody like a Chris Will or somebody more, you're probably going to have a shot. Look, at that point, you know, if Julie...
Oh, there goes Mike. Just dropped off the face of the planet. I just signaled him. Your gimmick died. Am I on the air? Can you hear me? Yeah. Hey, Mike. Oh, he lost everything. Yeah. Comcast sucks. Are you back? No? Oh, well. Okada and Ricochet versus Swerve and Brody King was the main event. And good match. I like the team of Swerve and Brody King. They actually have some really cool spots. 2 to fire regulars back in the day. And they had a good match here. And then at the end, Okada got the belt. Swerve hit him with the house call, which looked like it sucked. And the ref's checking on Okada and Brody outside. Ricochet hits Swerve with the belt and pins him. You back?
What was that?
Well, it's called Comcast sucks.
Comcast business internet blows.
You turned into a robot, and then your audio vanished, and then your video froze. It was a perfect storm of disaster.
$270 a month for this?
How much?
It's like 2 and change.
Hey, can I do something here?
Sure.
Hey, Dom, do we have Sirius X? I guess maybe should I not bury Sirius XM? Dom, can I bury Sirius XM or no?
No, do not.
Okay, all right.
I like the MLB channel. I mean, there's that.
They're
the
great.
Channel's pretty good.
They're
NFL's
excellent.
okay once in a while.
Okay. So anyway, that was a show. String of really good shows lately. And make sure you listen to the Bryan and Vinny show tonight, everybody.
This show.
Make sure you listen to the Bryan and Vinny show tonight. All right. Hey, anyway, what else do we got here? Nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've been kicked off. Talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live. Are you one of those youngsters today who listens to Spotify? I don't even know what it is. But I do know this. All of our podcasts are available at Spotify. You can head up right now and sign up. The easiest way to do so, f4wonline.com/Spotify. And for just $9.99 per month, you can listen to 84 podcasts on any given month. 84! 2 to 3 podcasts every single day covering pro wrestling and mixed martial arts. And if you think about $9.99 per month, that's just pennies per day. So check it out today on Spotify. That's f4wonline.com/Spotify. f4wonline.com/Spotify. Are you one of those youngsters today who listens to Spotify? I don't even know what it is. But I do know this. All of our podcasts are available at Spotify. You can head up right now and sign up. The easiest way to do so, f4wonline.com/Spotify. And for just $9.99 per month, you can listen to 84 podcasts on any given month. 84! 2 to 3 podcasts every single day covering pro wrestling and mixed martial arts. And if you think about $9.99 per month, that's just pennies per day. So check it out today on Spotify. That's f4wonline.com/Spotify. f4wonline.com/Spotify. Oh,
Yeah.
They let me back. Well, it doesn't matter. We're done. Hey, tomorrow's Fun Friday. Myself and Lance and I believe Sempervive. I don't even know now.
Maybe.
He took the day off or something. But anyway, me and Lance will be here for sure.
I hate having fun.
And then tonight is the Bryan and Vinny Show, only for subscribers at WrestlingObserver.com. We're going to talk about AEW and NXT for 90 minutes. We've got a lot to get into. We'll talk about both shows. And you can subscribe in a lot of different ways. If you've never subscribed, we have a first-time subscriber deal. Go to f4wonline.com/new. That's f4wonline.com/new. We have discounts for a year, or you can get the first month half off. That's f4wonline.com/new. So go up there now. Great time at WrestleMania season. And if you just want the podcasts, just the podcasts, $84 a month, you can go to Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. How do you find them? F4Wonline.com, and put the word after. F4Wonline.com/Apple, F4Wonline.com/YouTube, F4Wonline.com/Spotify. And $9.99 a month gets you everything, so check that out. And we'll be back tonight to talk everything. So Revolution, yes, there will be a Observer Radio and a Bryan and Vinny show after Revolution. And the post-Revolution Bryan and Vinny show, you will be able to listen to as a Twitch subscriber live. And that's easy. Just go to twitch.tv/F4W video and use your Amazon Prime account to sign up for free. So you can get a free subscription every month to our Twitch channel, and you can watch Observer Live every day, the video version. You can watch the video version of the post-pay-per-view shows for Bryan and Vinny. So check it out on Twitch. And that's it, everybody. So it's going to be a big, fun, busy weekend. Check it out. But don't miss Fun Friday tomorrow. Talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.